Welcome to Unapologetic Badasses, the online series. My name is Valerie Fuentes. I'm your host, and today I am with Suran. She's also known as the Strandy, and that's actually how I got to meet her. And it was so cool because I actually been following you for a long time. And then just the other night, as I was thinking about you, you followed me back. And I was like, oh my God, this is perfect. This is destiny, meant to be. And then we started talking the next day. So I was just so excited because really your account is one of the accounts that I've been following for a while. So she's also the founder of Silk and Lace. And you're going to tell us about your new project in a minute. So I leave you that honor. So welcome. And thank you so much for accepting my invitation.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm so glad I found you.
Yes. So let's talk first things first about hair loss. So tell us about your hair loss story.
Yeah, so my hair loss story began when I was 23 years old. I was in my junior year of college and I went on the birth control pill for the first time. And, when I asked about side effects or anything that could happen to me, they just gave the normal side effects outside of hair loss and it mentioned anything about it. And so when I took it and my hair started falling out, half my head of hair started falling out, I was shocked. And I thought it was anything else besides a birth control pill. Looked at my diet, what else I had been sort of doing at that time, stress levels and everything, and nothing had changed except for the birth control pill. I went back to the doctor and I told him that, and he said it couldn't be the birth control pill. Maybe I was just really stressed out because of school, and I believed him. I took the birth control pill for, like 5, maybe 4 years until another doctor finally told me it could have been related to that. Eventually, I was diagnosed with androgenic alopecia. My whole family had thin hair. I've had thin hair all my life, but I guess those hormones and the change in my body had kicked something and accelerated the symptoms of, the hair loss that I would have had later on in life. Mm-hmm. And so that's I've had, hair loss for about 7 years now. And it's been quite a journey. I mean, I know that a lot of other ladies will say this, but it's quite an emotional roller coaster. And it wasn't until I found wigs and toppers a year ago where it finally gave me peace. And I think the biggest thing, stopped caring and worrying and thinking about my hair loss. So that's kind of my story.
And you're rocking it. Like what I love about your account is like you really have fun with it. All the colors, all the styles, like all the things. I just love it. I love how you like truly have fun with it.
I think the best part about Strandy is I did it because I started wearing hair because of hair loss. But that's definitely not a central theme for Strandy. I intentionally named my Instagram account Strandy because I wanted it to be wig and hair topper focused, not about hair loss. It's about having fun with your identity. It's about being who you want to be and feeling empowered by it. And so that's what I love about the account.
Right. And so what tools, like what did you use to like go from that place of, the beginning, not feeling comfortable, because it's a shock, right? To get where you're at right now. Like what helped you get to where you are?
I actually think Strandy, I get a lot of DMs from people thanking me for the help that I've given them, but it's given me equal, if not more help. I think being open about your hair loss, being open about wearing hair, really being open about any insecurity that you have, ironically can be very empowering. I think it allows you to verbalize what you're feeling inside. It allows you to be your most raw and real self to others, and seeing them accept you because you've opened up to them. I think that has helped me the most in terms of being accepting and being open, being confident ultimately about my hair loss. And we're
No, I agree. I think that for me also, my account has been such an outlet for self-expression, right? Also because for a long time, I didn't talk about it. I've been living with alopecia for like 12, 13 years. And, just until recently, I started talking about it. So I can totally relate of that, freedom and freedom, the support of this community as to another level of
Yeah.
amazing. And yeah, just having that creative outlet. I don't know if you're creative, but I'm not super creative. So for me, being able to express myself in that way is amazing. I love it.
I think when I worked in corporate, I think having Serenity as a creative outlet was so liberating as well. And
Yep.
just being able to do whatever I wanted to do and not having any restrictions, that
Mhm.
makes it
Totally. Yeah. And so
yeah.
that's another thing that I found out while reading your bio was kind of your background. And so I'm also,
Yes.
yeah, I was part of the corporate world. And I know that now you're, jumping into entrepreneurship with your new project that you're going to tell us about in a minute. So like, what brought you to Silk Lace?
So I guess, going all the way, not all the way back, but when I was in grad school, I discovered this whole new world of entrepreneurship. Before business school, never ever thought that I would be an entrepreneur. It never crossed my mind. But when I saw the spirit of and the passion behind creating something for yourself, and then also just the bigger purpose of being able to bring back like true value to the community and to people, I just fell in love. I had been consulting with different startups while in business school, and I just thought, oh my gosh, what if I could do the same thing? What if I could create something, give something back to the world that was good and helped people? And
Mm-hmm.
so during that time, I realized that I do want to quit corporate. I'd only been working for really big companies my whole career, and I thought, let's just try something different. If it fails, it fails, I'll take my butt back to corporate, but let me just try this. And so I began this journey of just trying to find something I was really passionate about. I think the timing was perfect because that was around the time that I started Strandy.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw just the huge interest and just really the huge interest first in wearing hair, and then also just how underdeveloped this whole industry is. It's
Mm-hmm.
so secretive. People don't want to say, they don't want to show off their hair. They don't want to show off that they're wearing hair. And they just don't want to talk about hair loss in general. And I just thought, I found it so empowering when I talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just found it so fun to wear hair. What if I could try to market this in a way that gave women just a different way of looking at this whole industry? My professional background is in marketing, so I was like, there has to be a way. And I spent the past year developing Strandy, but also thinking of a business to create for myself that added unique value. There's a lot of hair brands. I've reviewed them, I've tried them on, I've tested them out. And I guess the ultimate thing I realized was like, the world doesn't need another hair brand. There's a ton of really great, really high quality hair brands out there. I don't need to create another one. What consumers need, what I found out the huge pain point was, they need a better shopping experience. They need a better way to find that perfect piece for themselves. Because once you find it, it's magic.
Mm-hmm.
It transforms your life, and you're just like, oh my God, this is it.
I know. Yeah.
And it feels so right. And so I wanted to bring that magic to more people. And that's what ultimately made me create Silker Lace. It's a marketplace that hosts boutique, women-owned, small hair brands, wigs and hair toppers, and it allows them to search across these brands more easily. You can you can filter across attributes like hair color, length, basic things that you find in any other industry. Clothes, makeup, you can do all of those things, but you can't do with hair. And so I wanted to bring the Expedia, I call it the Expedia for hair, where you can really easily find your best route for hair. So that's how I started Silker Lace.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it's a brilliant idea, and you're so on point of like the experience of it. It's so important. I see it for myself. Like when I started to search for this new piece, it was overwhelming.
Yes.
So many options. So many options, and then you start thinking, okay, do I go human? Do I go synthetic? And the length and and then so many reviews, and it's just it can be really overwhelming. So
And the
I
thing is, like,
totally appreciate your thoughts. Yeah.
yeah, and the thing is, like, you can say that about a lot of other industries that may seem overwhelming. Finding makeup online can be overwhelming, but there are retailers like Sephora. There are other shops that have simplified it. Back in the day, who ever thought that you'd buy furniture online?
Mhm.
But we'll do it on the regular now. Finding coffee of all the different varieties could be overwhelming. If you look at all these other industries, they have simplified things in a way that makes it easy for consumers, that you don't think of it as complicated anymore. I
Mhm.
think that could be the same way, hopefully, very
Mhm.
soon.
Yeah. And another thing that I see happening, hopefully real soon, is that I think that even that people that don't have hair loss are gonna start wearing more hair.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where we're going. Just like, lashes were not a thing before, and now getting
Mm-hmm.
lashes is like getting your nails done. It's very like whatever. So I really see, I think that's really the future of this industry is like
Yeah,
people are going to start wearing hair.
I think you bring such a good point, Valerie. I think women, we dress up every part of our body down to our toes. We dress up our toes and we don't change up our hair. I find that crazy. And
Yeah.
I think that, celebrities who've been secretly wearing hair for years and years and
Ever.
years, why do they get to have all the fun? I think that it's time for the general public to know about wigs and hair toppers.
Right. What's your take on the pricing? And I would love to hear your thoughts because of your background in business and because you
Yeah.
also know a lot. So like, is there anything that we like, how are you going to manage this crazy like pricing that we have right now? Do you see a future for that so we can make it more of a staple, or just because of the craft it's not going to be possible?
So, and I'm just assuming that you're referring to sort of the high prices for wigs
Yeah.
and hair toppers. So, that's a tricky one. I think that in general, when you look at the general rules of demand and supply,
Mhm.
when there is more demand, prices will go down because more competition, more brand, there'll be more supply and more just power to the consumer to choose
Mhm.
from. I think that when you look at the broad market as a whole, there is a lot of just, there's not a way that people can price compare or even be empowered to choose from price because the industry is very secretive, it's not very open, and there are just not a lot of brands and suppliers. I think that self-lace, one way is being price transparent will allow for generally more competitive prices. And that's something that I've been thinking about from my business background. Um, I think also, though, it's tough with this industry because hair has to grow from someone's head.
Right.
And in general, it grows very slowly.
Yeah.
And there's a finite demand, right? Finite supply. And so that's always going to be a driver behind high prices, especially if you're looking at really high quality hair,
Right.
the that we all like and want to wear. So that's some of the constraints that I see as a whole in the industry.
Hmm. Yeah, I honestly that I'm like fascinated by that topic because also I
Yeah.
think about insurance and how it's not
Hmm.
covered and how we need to get to pass that law that makes wigs medical devices, because I don't think that alopecia is cosmetic. I think it affects your whole being, right? Like
Hmm.
emotionally, mentally, and everything. So um,
Yeah.
I think that might be a game changer if we get insurances to cover, because then more people will be able to afford it. But at the
Hmm.
same time, I've been learning now how, I mean, not difficult, but elaborate as to make a wig, right? Like just the labor itself, it's a lot.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I don't know that we'll be able to manage to bring the prices down, but I think it's needed. I mean, if you know what I mean, like I just hope that it at some point we can make it more manageable. Because I think that for a lot of people, like, I'm very blessed that I'm able to afford a human hair wig, but there are people that
Yeah.
don't have that luxury.
Yeah. I
And
think
it's painful. Don't know that you're losing your hair, but you can't afford to get a wig or whatever. That's not, you know what I mean?
right. I think the insurance route is interesting. I think on one hand, it's really, really great for women that you can use insurance to be able to afford the piece.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, oh shoot, my screen just went blank. But at the same time, it's tricky from a consumer perception standpoint, I think, because if we see something as, when it's labeled as insurance, it is labeled as a prosthetic. And when you label something prosthetic, it sounds all of a sudden like it's more medically, not really a fashion statement or something that can be empowering and beautiful and sort of fun to wear. That sort of language and consumer perception. I think I'm still thinking about that in my head, but that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I wanted to mention though is that the more demand there is for hair and the more people want to openly wear hair, technology is going to improve. We have we have robots and 3D making machines that we can think about applying into the hair industry. There are, what is that called, where hair transplants, they can do that with robots now. Why can't they do that with wig making? So I am constantly challenging people to think outside the box, think differently. How can we replicate what happens in other industries and bring it to hair and really transform the industry so that it can be accessible to more people?
Yes. Wow, that's brilliant. Yeah, definitely. AI is gonna take over the world. Artificial intelligence. That's
Yes, yeah. Well, there's good and bad to it. You're right, but
yeah, no, but it's just it's the way it is, and that's also it's interesting because with the pandemic and everything that's going on in the world, to think that where people are already losing their jobs, and then comes AI. That's and we're getting a little bit distracted with the conversation here, but yes, that's that is indeed. Yeah, no. So tell me what has been okay. So there was something that you said earlier, super important, that you said something about like your outlook and how you talk about hair loss. Like it has to be in a positive way. That's what you were saying, that you wanted like your business always to be positive. And so that was something that I struggled with at the beginning, because I've been wanting to do this for like, I want to say like a couple of years now. And
yeah.
I didn't know how to help women without focusing on the problem. So I really had to do kind of like, a research, like, okay, how can we talk about this without making it a problem? Because I don't want to, I think that the more we focus on the problem, the more you're going to be stuck there. So I think it's so important to have that perspective and that vision of, this is good, this is positive, this is the good that this has brought into my life. So for you personally, I know like you mentioned that Sandy brought you the community, but like really like personally, what has been the best thing of having alopecia?
Oh gosh. Well, I think just my overall purpose. I think building self-release, finding a reason for, just waking up every day and feeling proud of what I do. I think I wrote a post about this, but never, ever, ever did I think that I would be building my own business or even building a business upon wigs and hair toppers. I think that thinking about that is mind-boggling to me. I think the best part of alopecia is turning a negative into a positive. That was actually one of the huge pillars of Strandy as well, is that when I built that Instagram account, and to this day, I have never written a post talking about the negative sides of hair loss or just how I feel or venting. I think that there's definitely a time and place and an outlet for that for sure. And that doesn't mean that I never feel those feelings. I feel them all the time. But for me, it was super important to build a platform where women could go towards and find positivity in this aspect. So that was something super important to me, and I find such a blessing in my life.
Yeah. And honestly, I think that was what attracted me to your account, because that was absolutely my I don't know what I wanted, how I wanted to start my business. And I just had it in my head that from the first email, from the first post, from the first anything I created, it had to come from a positive side, because I did not want to, like, I had years that, I was so depressed that I don't ever want to be there again. And I want to just be a light for people. Like, everything that's going to come from my creation is going to inspire you, empower you. And that's really my purpose. Like you said, like, your pain becomes your purpose. And it's just so, I don't know, like you said, just so, and like, it fills my day just to wake up in the morning and be like, oh, I get to do this. Like, we get to do this. Right. And like you said, like, people with alopecia tend to hide. And so, like, when also, that was another thing that I started thinking is, where am I going to find these people if they don't want to, where do I find them if they're hiding?
Want to talk about it, yeah. If they're all hiding.
So yeah, like, we need it, like, and I really love what you're doing and your approach, because it brings the good things, it brings the good spirits. Like, I've never felt like, I just feel happiness when I read your stuff. So thank you so much for yeah.
Thank you.
So tell me about your relationships. How has hair loss affected your relationship at all?
So I get a lot of questions about, how I broke this to it was then my fiance and now my husband. And honestly, for me, bringing it up to BJ, my husband, that was probably the easiest part. I always knew that he would love me, unconditionally. And that was an easy conversation to have. And when I did bring it up to him, he was like, okay, like, do whatever you need to do. Get the hair. It's fine. With my friends and family, my other friends and family being the older people in my family, that was, I think, a harder obstacle mentally for me to overcome. And I think it was really on me, not them at all, because for me, I always had these feelings like, well, what are they going to think about me? Are they going to think differently about me? I'm showing a weakness. All of these things that I think a lot of people can relate to. I had those feelings too. And one day I was just like, you know what? F it. I'm just going to do it. And if they don't like it, they don't like it. Then I'll know. I can stop hiding it from them. And once I did, it was totally fine. They were like, oh, cool. They didn't think anything about it. And so I think that if anything, my relationships have been strengthened because I'm more open to that. But it was really like, from their perspective, their relationships with me were the same. For me, it was like my relationship with them was strengthened because I could be more of my true self with them. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's something that I share with everyone, is that when and don't get me wrong, if you're at a place that you're still not ready to share, that's totally fine. And we're all in different phases. But I always felt like when I wasn't sharing, that was in between me and the person, right? Like, you can't be completely transparent and connected and present, because you will be thinking, oh my God, are they looking at my hairline? Can they tell this is fake? Like,
you.
Yeah. It's just, and so now I don't care. So, like, I get to be present, be with people, be connected, and they get to experience me 100%.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you could go back in time, what would you do anything differently as far as your hair loss journey?
I feel like, as a principle in life, I feel like everything happens for a reason. I think that, my failures, my successes, all of those have, taken me to where I am today. So Not to say that I don't learn from my mistakes. And, I look back and be like, I feel like if I had the opportunity again, I wouldn't do it again. But at the same time, I just feel like everything that I've done with Strandy, quitting my corporate job, going to business school and learning about entrepreneurship and what it's like to start your own business, all of those things I think helped me to create Silver Lace, which I'm super, super proud of. And so I don't know if I would do anything differently.
Right. Right. And
I know
I
it's cliche.
100% feel the same way. I know it's super cliche, but it's so true. And I think that now more than ever, and like you, I feel so strong about what I'm doing that I wouldn't change it. I really wouldn't.
Yeah.
I was actually talking to somebody yesterday, and so I asked her, and I'm gonna ask you the same question: if you could regrow your hair, if they ask you, Suran, we're gonna give you your hair back, would you take it? Like a
Yeah,
full
I would take
hair that is natural.
Why not? I mean, I feel like maybe some people disagree with me, but it's like, why not have the hair back if you could? You can always wear wigs and hair toppers. No one's going to
That
stop
is
you,
true. That is
right?
really true. Yeah. Yeah. I think for me, what scares me, just because I've experienced the cycles, is the fear of, is it gonna fall out again?
Mm.
You know what I mean? So like that's the only thing that if they told me that I could get it back, I will say yes, only if you promise me I'm not gonna go through it again.
Sign the paper, write the contract.
Because I really don't. I'm not down for that. Same thing with trying, like I haven't lost hope that there will be a cure or that, we're gonna find something. I feel like when your body is in the right environment and your mind is in the right place, like, when all the conditions are there is a chance that we can get our hair back. Like, I don't know, if this is gonna happen in my lifetime or not, but I do believe that. I don't know that I am down to try everything still, like right now, at this point in my life, right? Like I'm not losing hope that something's gonna happen, but I don't want to put myself through that roller coaster of spending a ton of money and wasting my time thinking about it, and then you invest yourself so much emotionally and all that stuff. Like, I'm not down for that.
Yeah, and I totally get that. I think for me, I'm at a place where I'll wear hair probably for the rest of my life, and I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah.
I think that that's one thing that's important to me is I think that one thing that I stress still on Strandy is, taking care of your body.
Mm-hmm.
Wherever on your body like you take care of, you should probably take care of every part of your body, including your scalp. And I think that that's one of the things I feel really strongly about is just like you put, anti-aging, rebalancing products on your face, to do it on your scalp as well. So I think that's something that's really important to me. But I agree with you. I feel like in terms of regrowing my hair back, sure, I'll try it if in the future, some way, somehow, there's a miracle formula. But I'm not banking on it. I'm not like totally interested in trying it. So
Right.
I'm with you.
And I love what you said about your scalp, because that's the one thing that I'm enjoying right now that has changed for me, is that up until last week, I was wearing like a hair system that was glued to my, well, not glued.
Oh, wow.
It was
Yeah.
It's a smart part from Hotheads. And so basically your bio hair is kind of like
like sewn
tied into, like it goes through little holes. And so I will go to the hairdresser and she will adjust it and make it tight for me every month. And because of COVID, and then she also was in a car accident, I wasn't able to do my hair for 2 months.
Oh man.
So that prompted me, and honestly, I've been ready to move into something more. How do you say that? Removable? I don't know. Yeah, and I've been wanting to do this for a while, but I think that was definitely the push. But like now, I get to wash my own hair, even if it's not a lot. Like honestly, like my hair is like probably like I have like this much hair, like my real hair, but it's so great. to feel
Yeah.
my scalp. Like honestly, I love it. And to put conditioner and like now I'm thinking about like essential oils and like all this stuff because you know it is a part of me and it's a part of me that I wasn't able to experience before just because I had this thing. So I love
Yeah. I think it's like a sort of a psychological thing for me too, is like, I think with my hair loss, I hated my hair. I hated my eyebrows up, just this whole area of me. And I didn't take care of it. I didn't want to look at it. I didn't want to acknowledge it. But I think now just I follow like this 10-step Korean like face care routine, because like I want to take really good care of it. I, love my body. I want to, make sure that it's in great shape. And I feel like giving love to my scalp is also a way for me being like, I accept every part of me. I accept, my hair for the way it is, my scalp the way it is, and I'm going to take good care of it. So I think that just doing that action sort of helped me as well.
yeah. And so I know you have been so super generous and you have a gift for the audience. Do you want to tell us what that is?
Yes. Although I don't remember the code off the top of my head.
Yeah, okay. So we'll just let you guys know. I think I don't remember either. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. But we're gonna have a code for it was
For ways,
the Silk.
have a little, be able to have a discount code for you, and it goes towards any product on the site.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much. Is there anything that you want to leave us with today?
Oh gosh, that's a big question. Um, I just think that, you should love yourself for just the way you are. And I think that if you feel empowered by wearing hair, you should totally do it. If you feel empowered not wearing hair, you should totally do that too.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks
And
so
if
much for
you
having
want inspiration, go watch The Stranding because I
me.
promise you'll be so excited. I'm loved with like all your hairstyles and all that stuff. Like I hope that someday I get to feel comfortable doing all that. I just like I don't know. I think I was a redhead in high school. My
Oh,
husband is
wow.
telling me that he wants to see me in a platinum blonde, but I don't like the ones that you were wearing the other day. I like okay, I was gonna ask you that. Do you have more fun when you're wearing blonde? Do you think that
Ooh,
blondes have more fun?
I don't know. I think that's a myth.
Yeah,
I have more fun being a brunette because I feel like that's me.
right.
But, maybe blondes do have more fun and I just don't know.
And do you think like when you wear different hairs, like different personalities come out?
Oh,
The
for
same thing.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've heard that.
for sure. I want to wear like a bright red one and see how I feel in it.
Yeah, yeah. I've heard that that it definitely sparks different things. All right. Well, thank
Yeah.
you, Suran, so much. I had so much fun talking to you. I would love to do something again soon in the future. And thank
Yes,
you for your gift. That is so generous.
of course. Thanks so much.
Of course. All right, guys. We'll see you on the next interview.